First Contact Protocol Princess Zephyra adjusted her crystalline crown as the sleek Valdorian cruiser descended through Earth's atmosphere. Beside her, Princess Nexera reviewed diplomatic protocols on her bioneural tablet, its surface shimmering with alien text. "Remember, sister," Zephyra said, her voice carrying the authority of someone born to rule star systems. "We're here to assess their technological capabilities for potential trade agreements. Father expects a full report on their primitive achievements." Nexera nodded, though her violet eyes sparkled with curiosity. "The preliminary scans show they've barely mastered space travel. How advanced could they possibly be?" Their ship touched down in a designated landing zone outside Geneva, where Earth's hastily assembled First Contact Committee waited. The princesses emerged in flowing robes that seemed to bend light itself, their alien beauty causing several human officials to stare in wonder. Dr. Marcus Webb, Earth's lead xenarchaeologist, stepped forward with practiced diplomacy. "Your Highnesses, welcome to Earth. We're honored by your visit." Zephyra inclined her head regally. "We appreciate your hospitality. Our empire is curious about your developments." The tour began at CERN, where scientists eagerly explained particle acceleration. Both princesses exchanged glances. Their own people had mastered quantum manipulation millennia ago. Next came a demonstration of nuclear fusion, which Nexera found quaint compared to their stellar engines. But then Dr. Webb pulled out his smartphone. "This device," he said casually, "connects us to virtually all human knowledge, entertainment, and communication networks." Zephyra raised an eyebrow. "A communication device? We have those." "Watch this," Webb grinned, opening a gaming app. Suddenly, the phone's screen exploded with vibrant graphics as a tiny dragon soared across digital landscapes, breathing pixelated fire. Nexera gasped. "It simulates entire worlds?" "Just for fun," Webb shrugged. "There are millions of these games. Some people spend hours building virtual cities. Others solve puzzles. Some even date virtual characters. For fun?" Zephyra repeated the word like she was tasting something foreign. Webb demonstrated social media, showing videos of cats, humans dancing, and someone's lunch. He switched to an art app where he drew a crude flower with his finger, then applied filters that transformed it into something resembling classical masterpieces. "Anyone can create art?" Nexera whispered, watching a child's drawing morph into something beautiful. "That's just scratching the surface," Webb smiled. "Wait until you see what we do with our spare time." As they returned to their ship that evening, both princesses were unusually quiet. Their advanced sensors and neural implants felt suddenly sterile. "Did you notice," Nexera said softly, "how they used their technology?" Zephyra nodded slowly. "Not for conquest or efficiency. They actually enjoy it." That night, as Earth's city lights twinkled below their hovering ship, both princesses found themselves wondering about something their vast empire had somehow forgotten. The joy of creation. Digital wonderlands. The next morning brought an unexpected request. Princess Nexera approached the human delegation with something her species rarely displayed: genuine enthusiasm. "We would like to understand your recreational technologies," she announced, causing confused glances among Earth's officials. Dr. Webb grinned. "You want to see our fun stuff?" "Fun stuff," Nexera repeated carefully, as if learning a new language. Their first stop was Tech Hub Gaming Center in downtown Geneva. Owner Jake Morrison, a perpetually caffeinated programmer, had volunteered his establishment for alien-human cultural exchange. "Okay, Your Highnesses," Jake said, barely containing his excitement. "Welcome to humanity's favorite escape from reality." He led them to a VR setup where a teenage girl named Rosa was frantically swinging her arms, apparently fighting invisible enemies. Her movements looked absurd until they put on the headsets. Suddenly, Princess Zephyra stood in a vast fantasy realm, wielding a glowing sword against approaching monsters. Her enhanced alien reflexes made her devastatingly effective. But what stunned her wasn't the combat, it was the fact that Rosa, a complete stranger, had immediately offered to teach her the controls. "Why help me?" Zephyra asked through the headset's translator. "We don't know each other." Rosa laughed, dodging a digital fireball. "Because it's more fun together. Plus, you're new. Everyone helps newbies." Meanwhile, Nexra discovered MMORPGs. She watched in fascination as thousands of humans collaborated in virtual worlds, building cities, forming guilds, and creating elaborate storylines together. "They're cooperating," she murmured to her sister during a break. "Across continents, different languages, different cultures, they're working together just to create stories." Jake overheard. "Yeah, some guilds have been friends for decades. They've never met in person, but they've shared birthdays, divorces, kids' graduations, the whole human experience." The princesses exchanged glances. In their empire, recreation was scheduled, efficient, and solitary. Here, humans had turned entertainment into a form of connection. Their minds were further blown by the maker, space attached to the gaming center. College student Omar Hassan was 3D printing custom controllers for disabled gamers, while his friend Lisa Chong had modified haptic gloves to help blind players experience VR through touch. "You modify your own entertainment?" Zephyra asked, watching. Omar adjusts the sensitivity on a one-handed controller. "Constantly," Omar replied. "See, my little sister has cerebral palsy, but she loves racing games. So I designed this controller that works with her specific grip strength. You created technology ... for one person." "For my sister," Omar corrected gently. "Technology should work for everyone." Nexra found herself staring at a wall covered in photos. Humans of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds, all smiling while using various adapted gaming devices. That evening, as they reviewed the day's observations, Princess Zephyra made a confession that would have shocked the Valdorian. "Court. Sister," she said quietly, "I think I understand why they call it fun." "It's not about the technology itself," Nexra replied, her voice filled with wonder. "It's about what they do with it. They don't just use it, they play with it, share it, change it." Both princesses looked out at Earth's glowing cities, each light representing humans who had somehow turned their tools into bridges between hearts. The art of everyday magic Princess Nexra's fascination with human technology deepened when Dr. Webb introduced them to Inventrix Labs, ADIY, engineering space in Geneva's University District. The lab's founder, Dr. Kemi Okafor, greeted them with oil-stained hands and an infectious smile. "Your Highnesses," Kemi said, completely unbothered by protocol, "welcome to organized chaos." The lab buzzed with activity. Engineering student Raj Patel was building a prosthetic arm using salvaged smartphone components and 3D printed parts. His design cost under $200 and was more responsive than commercial alternatives costing thousands. "You built this from discarded technology?" Nexra asked, examining the intricate servo mechanisms. "Waste not, want not," Raj grinned. "Plus, commercial prosthetics don't always fit our needs, so we make our own." Nearby, retired teacher Florence. Mackenzie was crafting wearable sensors that could monitor her husband's Parkinson's symptoms, sending alerts to their doctor while looking like ordinary jewelry. "My Herald has tremors," Florence explained, adjusting a sensor disguised as a decorative brooch. "But he hates looking sick. This way, he feels handsome, and I feel secure." Princess Zephyra watched, bewildered. In her empire, technology was handed down from above, perfect and unchangeable. Here, humans seemed to treat it like clay, reshaping it to fit their lives. The true revelation came when Kemi demonstrated her latest project, a kitchen blender modified with precision sensors and AI processing. "It's just a smoothie maker," Kemi laughed at their confused expressions. "But watch this." The blender scanned ingredients through its transparent chamber, analyzing nutritional content and automatically adjusting blend patterns for optimal texture and vitamin preservation. A holographic display showed real-time nutritional data while playing the user's favorite music. "You enhanced a food preparation device, FOR pleasure?" Zephyra asked. "For my daughter," Kemi corrected. "She has sensory processing disorder. Different. Textures stress her out, but she needs proper nutrition. So I taught our blender to make smoothies that look like art and feel like silk." She activated the device. The blender didn't just mix it, created swirling patterns of color, projected rainbows onto the kitchen wall, and produced a smoothie with the exact consistency that would comfort a struggling child. Felt something shift in her understanding. You didn't just solve a problem. You created ... beauty. "That's the human way," said Miguel Santos, a local chef experimenting with molecular gastronomy. "Why settle for functional when you can have magical?" He demonstrated his own creation, a standard pressure cooker enhanced with precision, timing and temperature controls that could transform simple ingredients into culinary masterpieces while composing personalized dinner music based on the meal's cooking rhythms. The afternoon brought more wonders. They met Sophia Anderson, who had turned her fitness tracker into a mood-responsive art piece that painted her emotional journey across her apartment walls. They saw how teenager Dev Kumar had modified his electric skateboard to charge his grandmother's medical devices during his daily commute. "Every device tells a story," Dr. Okafor explained as they toured the lab's gallery of modified gadgets. "Not just what it does, but who it serves and why they needed it to be different." That evening, Princess Nexra sat alone in their ship, staring at her own bioneural tablet. It was perfect, efficient, unchangeable, and suddenly felt dead in her hands. She thought about Raj's prosthetic, Florence's jewelry, Kemi's blender. Each device pulsed with human love, creativity, and stubborn refusal to accept limitations. "Sister," she called to Zephyra, "I think I'm beginning to understand why humans sing while they work." "Oh?" Zephyra looked up from her own contemplation. "They don't just use their tools," Exera said softly. "They dance with them." The weight of wonder 3 weeks into their diplomatic mission. Both princesses faced an unexpected crisis. They no longer wanted to leave. Princess Zephyra sat in the ship's communication chamber, staring at a message from their father, Emperor Valda IX. His holographic image flickered with imperial impatience. "Daughter, your reports describe toys and frivolities. When do you assess their military capabilities?" "Father," Zephyra began carefully, "their true strength isn't in weapons. It's in creativity?" Valder's laugh was sharp. "Creativity doesn't conquer star systems, Zephyra. Complete your assessment and return immediately. The Galactic Council awaits our decision on Earth's strategic value." The transmission ended, leaving Zephyra staring at her reflection in the dark screen. Through the ship's viewports, she could see Earth's surface, where billions of humans were probably modifying blenders, designing games, and turning their technology into art. Princess Nexera found her sister later, curled up in the observation deck. "We're supposed to be evaluating their potential as subjects or allies," Zephyra said without looking up. "But I keep thinking about Omar's controller for his sister, or Florence's jewelry for her husband." "I know," Exera whispered. "I've been learning to code." Zephyra's head snapped up. "You what?" Dr. Webb introduced me to a programmer named Zoe Patterson. "She's teaching me Python." Nexera's cheeks flushed violet with embarrassment. "I wanted to understand how they make their digital worlds." "Sister, we have bioneural interfaces that can—" "That's just it," Nexera interrupted. Their way is slower. Messier, but ... they choose every step. Every line of code is a decision, a creative act. When Zoe writes a program, she's not just instructing a machine, she's expressing herself. Over the following days, both princesses threw themselves into human culture with increasing desperation. Zephyra joined an online gaming community where she befriended players from 6 continents. She learned to trash talk in 12 languages and discovered the joy of staying up until 3 a.m. arguing about optimal team strategies. Nexra haunted makerspaces, learning to solder, program, and design. She created her first invention, a translation device that didn't just convert languages, but preserved emotional context, helping humans understand not just what aliens said, but how they felt saying it. Look at this, she showed Zephyra excitedly. When I say, "Greetings" in formal Valdorian, the device explains that it carries the emotional weight of autumn leaves falling, respect tinged with melancholy. That's beautiful, Zephyra admitted. But sister, what are we doing? We're princesses of the Valdorian Empire. We have responsibilities. Their crisis deepened when Dr. Webb invited them to a local maker fair. Thousands of humans displayed their inventions. A prosthetic leg that generated electricity while walking. A smart cane that helped blind users navigate through sound. A modified wheelchair that could climb stairs and dance. They solved problems we didn't even know existed. Nexra marveled, watching a teenager demonstrate her sign language translation gloves. More than that, Zephyra realized, they refuse to let technology exclude anyone. Everything they build is trying to include more people, not fewer. That night, Emperor Valder's message was stern. Return within 1 solar cycle, or face imperial consequences. The sisters stood together on Earth's surface, feeling soil beneath their feet for the first time. Above them, stars twinkled, stars that included their home, their empire, their predetermined futures. What if we stayed? Nexra whispered the forbidden thought. We can't, Zephyr replied, but her voice lacked conviction. Can we? Around them, Earth hummed with human activity. Millions of people creating, building, playing, and loving with their technology. For the first time in their lives, 2 alien princesses wondered if there might be something more important than empires. Revolution in code and heart. The Valdorian Empire's deadlines meant nothing to Princess Nexra as she sat in Inventrix Labs at 2 a.m., hunched over a computer with Zoe Patterson, learning to debug code. Her royal robes had been replaced by a borrowed hoodie reading, I turn coffee into code. See this error? Zoe pointed at the screen. Your loop is trying to access memory that doesn't exist. Like how I'm trying to access a life that might not exist. Nexra muttered, then caught herself. Sorry, I'm having an existential crisis. Zoe laughed. Been there. That's what the coffee's for. 3 tables away, Princess Zephyra was engaged in a heated video call with her guild from realms of eternity. Tonight was the night they'd finally attempt the legendary dragon's crown. Raid, and as guild leader, she couldn't abandon her team. Princess, we need your tactical genius, called out Marcus from Toronto. Jenny's bringing her new crowd control build, and Pavel figured out how to exploit the fire immunity bug. I'll be there, Zephyra promised, then glanced at the countdown. Timer on her screen. 6 hours until their father's ships arrived to escort them home. Dr. Webb found them both there at dawn, surrounded by empty coffee cups and the comfortable chaos of human creation. Your Highnesses, he said gently, the Valdorian fleet has been detected approaching our solar system. Both princesses froze. Their magical night was ending. There's something else, Webb continued. Our satellites picked up coded transmissions between the fleet ships. We think your father is planning more than just retrieving you. Zephyra's blood chilled. Show me. The intercepted communications, translated through Nexra's emotion-preserving device, revealed the truth. Emperor Valder hadn't sent them to assess Earth for trade. He'd sent them to evaluate humanity for conquest. Their primitive creativity was seen as proof of an unorganized species ripe for subjugation. "He's going to invade," Nexera whispered. "All those people we've met? Omar, Florence, Kemi, ... "Not if we stop him," Zephyra said, her voice carrying new steel. What followed was the most audacious plan in diplomatic history. Using skills learned from their human friends, the princesses hacked into their own fleet's communication systems. Nexera's programming expertise, combined with Zephia's strategic gaming mind, allowed them to access every ship simultaneously. But instead of military commands, they transmitted something unprecedented, a live feed of human creativity. The Valdorian admirals found their screens filled with footage from makerspaces, gaming communities, and DIY libraries. They watched. Humans modifying prosthetics for friends, creating art with kitchen appliances, and building worlds in virtual reality, not for profit or power, but for joy. Emperor Valder's furious face appeared on their communication screen. "Daughters, what is the meaning of this transmission?" "Father," Zephyra said calmly, "we're showing you what we found. Not a primitive species to conquer, but a civilization that's mastered something we lost long ago." "They've weaponized happiness," Nexera added. "They take any tool and transform it into something that brings people together. Ridiculous. Prepare for orbital bombardment." But the fleet hesitated. Across dozens of ships, Valdorian officers were watching humans help strangers, solve problems with creativity, and turn technology into expressions of love. Many had never seen anything like it. Admiral Thyron, the Emperor's most trusted commander, spoke slowly. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should reconsider these humans. They might teach us something valuable. The revolution wasn't fought with lasers or shields. It was won with videos of humans laughing while they invented, shared their creations freely, and refused to let technology exclude anyone." 6 months later, Princess Zephyra opened the first Valdorian gaming cafe where aliens learned to play together instead of against each other. Princess Nexera established the Interstellar Maker Exchange, sharing human DIY principles across the galaxy. Their father never did approve, but he couldn't argue with the results. Crime rates plummeted on worlds that adopted human-style creativity workshops. Depression became rare in species that learned to modify their technology for fun rather than just function. And on Earth, 2 alien princesses learned the most human lesson of all. Sometimes the best way to change an empire is to teach it how to play. In the end, the real invasion was joy spreading across the stars, one modified blender, and handcrafted VR headset at a time.